We want to kick things off with some news that's coming out of the world of USAID. Of course, that has been something that DOGE, the Elon Musk-run department, has taken a real shot at, if you will, in terms of, Elon called it a criminal organization with the amount of waste that was going on with USAID. Whether you like it or not, there were some interesting documents that were leaked, including an email from a USAID official saying, hey, it's going to be a busy day. Start shredding, start burning all the documents. Now, of course, there can be legitimate reasons for there to be a shred and burn day, if you will, as they are being essentially shut down and moved down in their offices. But they want to make sure, this article says the efforts triggered immediate alarm on Capitol Hill, where they need to make sure that the administration put some steps in to make sure they're complying with law, because destroying some of these documents could be a big issue.
That's right. And there's something called the Federal Records Act, which makes sure that the documents of the government belong to the people, not necessarily just to those agencies, and that they have to preserve this for transparency, for oversight, things of that nature. And so there is concern when all of a sudden an email goes out from the acting executive secretary, Erica Carr, that says this is going to be an all-day event. So bring a lunch, essentially, and get ready. Shredding. And when the shredder gets overworked or too backed up or needs a break, start putting stuff in burn bags. Label it secret. And what do you do with burn bags? They're paper bags that you burn so that you can get rid of documents. Now, there is already some Democrats actually on the Hill that are raising alarms about the Federal Records Act, but they're going to take it, obviously, from the standpoint of, this has got to be Elon Musk and Trump doing this. They're trying to cover up their actions. Meanwhile, we know what Elon Musk and President Trump have said about this organization, so that raises alarm on the right that they're trying to cover up something by burning these documents. The ACLJ's attorneys are already working up a FOIA request on this.
And you have an administration, the Trump administration, and some Democrats even saying, hey, we got to make sure that we're complying here, because it is not legal to just start destroying documents. Got to make sure things are backed up, that there are digital copies, that there are print copies still. Because, like you said, these are the documents of the people, not the documents of some corporate business.
That's right. And obviously, Gregory Meeks, a Democrat from New York, who's on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, he's trying to spin it that this is President Trump and Elon doing something nefarious, saying that burning and shredding USAID documents and personnel files seems like a great way to get rid of evidence of wrongdoing when you're illegally dismantling the agency. I also feel like the converse to that is that burning and shredding documents seems like a great way to get rid of evidence when the grants and programs you were doling out weren't necessarily on the up and up.
Look, I got an idea. How about it? Let's say you're right. And you agree that you think that it's President Trump and Elon doing this to hide their own stuff. Good. Let's not shred all the documents then. Let's not burn all the documents. How about we just agree to let's not do that shred and burn day? I think that's probably the easiest solution for everybody. So then these documents can be public record and we can see them. You can FOIA them. You can get the information out there instead of this idea where it has to be partisan. How about if it is partisan when you actually look into it? Fine. But I think we can all agree that just shredding and burning, not the best idea. We've heard a lot of that before. We've seen it in history. We've seen it happen so many times, and it never ends up good. So let's not go there. There's a lot of calls coming in on this, and I know we want to break in, Will, and talk about Erica Carr. You referenced that in the first segment, that you had some more information, so you know who this person is that we're dealing with.
That's right. So Erica Carr is the acting executive secretary of USAID, and she has been in government in similar roles for quite a while. She was actually in the Office of Personnel Management, which is kind of like HR for the whole government, between 2007 and 2009. So at the tail end of the George W. Bush administration, and then through the early years of Obama. But then she moved over to USAID under Obama's first year in 2009. And then when President Biden began his term in 2021, she was appointed by Biden as the executive secretary to USAID in an acting capacity at that time before any sort of confirmation went forward. So she's been in leadership at USAID for a while. So this isn't a new person that was brought in by the DOGE team or by the Trump administration to oversee the dismantling. This is someone who knows the ins and outs of this agency. And so when it's coming from her, this directive, it does also raise more questions to me. When they're saying get rid of what seems to be vast amounts of documentation, classified documentation, many people may not even think that USAID would have a ton of classified information, but they have classified safes. Now, there's a spokesperson saying that much of this is just paper copies of things that are stored on servers, so we're not getting rid of it all. But at some point, if it's done in a way where it's an all-day event, you're shredding. The directive is shred as much as you can first and reserve the burn bags for when the shredder needs a break. It seems like you're getting rid of everything.
It starts to raise red flags, not just within it, but also for us who have been through this before. This starts to give you, some moments of PTSD, maybe, of previous administrations, of things happening like this. And we have some calls about that. Let's go to Jerry, who's calling in Rhode Island on line 2. Jerry, you're on the air.
Hello, team. Will you remember this discussion 5 and 6 years ago when Grinnell first hanging on? We were talking about leaks. We were talking about the Peter Strzok cell phone with the girlfriend. Those long-term listeners, we know exactly what's being inferred here. We're destroying the evidence because we got a new guy in charge. So this is nothing new.
Jerry, I knew you were going to say that, and I feel the same way. It's like I don't want to hear those names again, your Lisa Page, your Peter Strzok, but it does give you sort of flashbacks to those moments because, it just felt so politically motivated. And that's why I'm even saying on this way is if you're saying, hey, the left is saying, well, this is Trump covering himself and Elon covering themselves. And then the right is saying this is USAID covering themselves and not wanting to show fine. Let's not burn them. Let's not destroy them. Let's take a look at what's inside of them.
I'll even go back one step further, Jerry. In the case that the ACLJ fought very hard for years to protect the Tea Party groups against the discrimination by the IRS and fighting back and eventually winning an order against the IRS. And Lois Lerner, who was the head of the nonprofit division, she lost 2 years worth of emails. In what 2 years were they? The very specific period of which that targeting began. So the Democrat on the Foreign Affairs Committee, Gregory Meeks, may try to make this a look what President Trump and the DOGE team is doing. But those of us like Jerry, who've been around long enough, know that the people that end up destroying documents, deleting servers, losing emails and text messages always seem to be the deep state actors that were up to no good. That's just the bottom line. It doesn't tend to be really people on the right, at least in modern times, that are doing this deep state swampy activity to get away with it and to destroy evidence. It always seems to be those that are trying to create a stronger bureaucracy and weaponize government against the American people.
But it has triggered some alerts to happen, and they are trying to take care of this. Now, again, both sides in some ways saying, they may be pointing fingers, but it is being taken care of. They have been, though they were ordered to destroy a lot of these documents, there has been, like what they said, alarms triggered.
That's right. And when you think about it, there is, to some degree, a necessity when you are being told to vacate your building because Customs and Border Patrol will be moving into the former headquarters of USAID. I'm certain that there is some things that will get shredded and burned as you moved. And some of these, they say, are personnel files, things that probably aren't necessary to transfer. Maybe they are, though. That's the problem. When it's done as an order of this is going to be an all-day event, get ready, buckle up, we're going through everything, that's where you start to get concerned, too, about other swampy deep state people, even if the order is on the up and up from the executive secretary.
We are so excited to announce the ACLJ's brand new app, completely redesigned to provide you with the best tools available to partner with us at the ACLJ. You can watch the daily Seculo program, sign the petitions, customize your ACLJ membership experience, donate with the click of a button, and receive up-to-the-minute critical updates that the mainstream media can't censor. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to your phone's app store, search ACLJ, and click install. It's that simple.